Welcome to All Turtles Rule of Three, where we talk about changing the world a little bit at a time. I'm Phil Libin. Today's question is, how should startups deal with competition? Well, the short answer is just ignore them. There really isn't much you can do about competition anyway. You're most likely to succeed by making your own product better. Slightly longer answer is there's actually 3 different types of competition. Depending on which type you're facing, you should have very different strategies. I like to think of this as rock, paper, scissors, where startups are scissors, medium-sized, recently successful startups are rocks, and big companies are paper. And the threat model works the way that you expect. Scissors threaten paper, paper threatens rock, rock threatens scissors. What does this mean? Well, you're a scissor, you're a startup. Don't worry at all about what big companies are doing. They're too slow. You can dart in and out. You can cut away their customers. They can't react fast enough. In fact, if you're competing with a big company as a raw startup, don't worry about it. They're not your competitor. They're your target. Also, don't worry about what other startups are doing, other scissors. You're not competing with other startups because let's say you have 10 startups chasing the same thing. If all 10 of you suck, it doesn't matter who the best one is. You're all going to fail. And if 3 out of the 10 are pretty good, you'll all get to graduate and become medium-sized companies and then fight it out. So don't worry about what other startups are doing. Focus on making your product as good as possible. But there is one category of companies that you should worry about as a startup, as a raw startup, which are the rocks, because they're still pretty fast. They haven't become big, stupid companies yet. Maybe they're not as fast as you, but they can still move quickly. And when they move with more force because they have customers, they have revenue, they have investors, they have partners. And so they can take your idea and implement it better. They can put more engineers on it. They can move more customers to it. So do worry about what recently successful startups are doing if they compete with you. Now, unfortunately, a lot of raw startups find themselves in exactly this area where they're competing with recently successful startups. Because a lot of times that's when people decide to do something. They say, this other company recently made a unicorn. They came out of nowhere and made $1 billion thing. Maybe we should too. That's actually the exact wrong time to get into an industry when someone has changed it just in the past couple of years. The best time is when there hasn't been innovation for 20 and 30 years, and the only competition is paper. Now, if you're a medium-sized company, a rock, then yeah, don't worry about what the raw startups are doing because frankly, once you see a good idea, you can just implement it better. But you do need to start worrying about the paper now, because they've got contracts, they've got lawyers, they can tie you up with customers, they can beat you on pricing. And when you actually become a big company, when you become paper, yeah, don't worry about the medium-sized guys, but do worry about the startups again. That's the cycle of life, the rock, paper, scissors model of startup competition. Thanks for watching All Turtles Rule of Three. Send your questions to hello@all-turtles.com and join us next time where we talk about the Kung Fu Panda movies.